We call it cutting. It isn't exactly that. It really should be called assembly. Mosaic is assembling something to create a whole.
Hi, welcome to TESOL Smash. My name's Ed Asprey. Today we're getting into some editing with some basic techniques for transitions. A lot of the work of editing is simply cutting out the bits you don't want and putting together or assembling the bits you do want into something meaningful. But how you put those clips together and how you move from one clip to the next clip can have quite an impact on the feel and the pace of your video, and ultimately on whether you can effectively convey your message. So in this video, I want to go over 3 really basic techniques for transitions: hard cuts or jump cuts, transition effects, and title cards. The simplest way to make a transition is to put your clips back to back in the timeline. This creates something called a hard cut or a jump cut, because the video jumps from one clip to the next clip, and that looks like this. So in this video, I want to go over 4 aspects of watchability. To do this, I want to compare a video from the eminent educator and writer. If you have some editing software that can deal with more than one track at once, you can make that cut a bit smoother by doing something called checkerboard editing. Checkerboard editing is essentially where you cut out the dead space from the end of clip 1 and the beginning of clip 2, and then overlap the clips slightly. So that means that the audio from clip 1 hasn't quite finished when the audio from clip 2 starts. It's called checkerboard editing because when you start to do this a lot and you build it up in your timeline, it starts to look a little bit like a checkerboard or a chessboard. Let's have a look at that clip from before again, this time with some checkerboard editing. So in this video, I want to go over 4 aspects of watchability. To do this, I want to compare a video from the eminent educator and writer. So with the checkerboard edit, the transition is a lot smoother and the cut itself is a little bit less noticeable. That's because the overlapping audio creates a feeling of continuity. Checkerboard editing is really useful if you want to create a nice, smooth transition between 2 clips that are quite closely related. If you want to make a more distinct transition, you can start using transition effects. Most editing software will come with a bundle of transition effects ranging from the outright ridiculous, like this, to the more familiar and useful, such as a fade, which looks like this. So you can see with the fade, the transition is a lot more noticeable, but you can change the length of the fade, and that will have an effect on the speed of the transition. A lot of the higher end software will come with some really cool and really professional looking transition effects, but if you don't have that, you can always make your own transitions. So for example, I use this one all the time. That only took me a few minutes to make, but I really like making my own transitions because it helps me develop my own style and develop my own look for my videos. Lastly, there's title cards. Title cards are not really transitions, but they're a really useful way to go from one section of your video to the next section of your video. And you can do that just with titles against a blank screen, which looks like this. Or you can use presets, or of course you can make your own title cards. So for example, I use these title cards in my video. Just like with transition effects, I really like making my own titles because it helps me develop my own style and my own feel to the videos. I also really like title cards because they can control the pace of your video. They can slow down the pace of your video and give your viewer a little bit of a headspace, a little bit of a pause between the content before the next section starts. A lot of people edit transitions really quickly as an afterthought, but transitions can have quite a big impact on the feel and the pace, and also on how your viewer understands how these clips are connected. And that can have a serious effect on how effectively you can convey your message. So while editing, you should spend a good bit of time thinking about which transition is right for which situation. So thanks for watching, I hope that was helpful. Stay tuned for some more videos about video editing for education.
How'd you like it?
Oh, I didn't.
Thank you.